Jay here from Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm in the studio. We are live talking about all things Manchester United. So get involved in the chat and the comments and make sure you're hitting that like button. The big story this morning is focusing on the Manchester United game against Rangers. Now, it's not the result, which is obviously, great. We won. The performance wasn't great, if I'm being honest with you. I've probably had better afternoons at the dentist or better evenings at the dentist. But we got the win and it was needed. But a lot of the stories, the news, the talk is on the clashes we saw at Old Trafford. Now, I want to be clear about this, right? And I've said it myself, clashes. I hate when we use that word clashes because that insinuates that it's, it's a bit of give and back forth. It's a bit of give and take, it's back and forth. It's two sets of fans fighting each other. Whereas I don't want to be all like, oh, it's not us, it's them. But it was the Rangers fans who were literally in the United end who was causing all the dramas. United fans didn't go in the Rangers end and start causing trouble. You had Rangers fans scattered all over the ground and it caused a ruckus. And listen, I'm not going to be a complete hypocrite. I have sat in the new camp in the Barcelona end when Manchester United played Barcelona. I have sat in the Atletico end or the home end when we played Atletico Madrid. I've done it in Europe myself. But what I didn't do when United scored against Barca was jump up, start cheering, and then start goading Barcelona fans. Some fans, when I was in the new camp, who did cheer United scoring, were ejected quickly, and they left quickly. What we saw from a lot of Rangers fans last night was violence, was kicking off, goading, and I know this. I don't need to go on the internet to find it out, because I saw it with my own eyes. I saw it in my end. Now, where I stand, in the next to the TRA bit, just near the tunnel, it's a lot of season ticket holders, a lot of old school Reds. There was, I think, 3 or 4 Rangers fans in our bit. Not many compared to other parts of the ground. And it did kick off. And the Rangers fans that were there celebrated their goal and then were goading United fans. And then at the end, there was a bit of, the usual Munich playing stuff as well that we've seen far too often. And it all went off. Now, I'm not condoning violence. I'm not saying, well, they deserved it. I'm not going to say that at all. What I will say is you cannot be surprised if you act like that in a home end at any club, let alone Manchester United, goad the fans, do gestures that are inflammatory, and then get your head kicked in. That isn't something that should be shocking. I'm not saying it should happen. I'm just saying that what did you expect? Did we all think that United fans or that some fans are just going to go, well, don't do that again? Now, the stewards, I sympathise with him. I know there's been a lot of criticism of the stewards because it's like, why don't they do this? Why don't they do that? For some of them, it's very difficult. I saw there was footage of like one steward on the concourse with about 50 Rangers fans there to deal with. What's he meant to do? Seriously. He can't tackle them all on his own. Then you've got a situation where you might have 3 or 4 stewards, again, with a whole group of Rangers fans to deal with. Very difficult. I understand that. Now, we've seen this before. I think it was Galatasaray, wasn't it, last season? Was it last season or season before? Where I think it was I can't even remember. It all molds into one. I think it was last season where Galatasaray fans were in the United end and it caused a load of trouble. And we saw it again last night at Rangers, probably to a bigger degree. Some violence and also a lot of United fans who just try to watch the game, try to stay out of it, getting caught up in just nonsense that they don't want to get caught up in. I've seen a lot of people post on social media, a lot of younger fans, kids and stuff, who are getting stick and having to move because of Rangers fans. It's just not on. And the club needs to get a grip of it. It's all right saying we're going to start charging you 66 quid. It's all right sending out emails saying you can't stand up in a Stretford end and all this other drivel. It's all right cutting costs everywhere, but you need to look after your own fans. And you're not doing that. And when I say it's all right, I'm being sarcastic. You can't be expecting us to pay more money, be told what to do, be told not to stand up, watch garbage more often than not on the football pitch, if we're being brutally honest this season, and then have ourselves trying to get bullied off rival fans in our own end. Ain't going to happen. So I can understand why there was big frustration and a bit of a kick-off from Manchester United fans, and the club needs to get a grip of it. They really do. We've got some stories on the back of it. See, I think this is in the Mail. Manchester United will launch an investigation. Oh, well, whoop-de-doo. After a number of Rangers fans were able to get tickets in areas of Old Trafford designated for home supporters, over 3,500 Rangers supporters were officially inside the stadium for the Europa League group stage match, but significantly more appeared to have been able to secure a seat in the home end, resulting in complaints to United and the police. Ahead of the game, United had put preventive measures in place to prevent away supporters from entering home sections. However, a number of clips showing groups of individuals in Rangers top chanting in the home section concourse quickly began to circulate on social media. The weird thing was, in our end, the Rangers fan had a United top on. And he was a Rangers fan, there's no disputing it. He had like an old school United top on. Now, I don't know if that's to fit in, but you don't need to wear a United top to fit in the home end. That's just nonsense. But no, it's not. Now look, what is the answer? I think a lot of the problems were Rangers fans had signed up for a membership and then bought tickets in the home end. So if you're United and you've got a membership that's looks legit and you buy a ticket, can you grumble at that? Now, what happened at Barcelona was if you just bought a membership recently, you couldn't buy a ticket when I went to Barcelona for United versus Barcelona. I got a ticket from someone else. So maybe United needs to look at that. When that fixture was announced, did you all of a sudden you have loads of members just join and just buy that one ticket? Is there something there? I don't know. Or do you just go, right, you've took the mick, next time United play Rangers, no Rangers fans. Will UEFA allow that? I don't know. And then also, Rangers will say, well, you're not coming to Ibrox. Are the club willing to do that? Would United fans be happy with that? I don't know. I've not got all the answers. Let me know what you think. I just think you can't have that continuing. We've got some more sort of pictures here. One video shows fans accosting a man in a black jacket and throwing punches in his directions. He turns around to remonstrate, but the blows continue to rain down as he's chased down the stairs. This is a sad thing as well. It'll be, again, I'm not justifying violence, but it's probably United fans who end up getting in trouble now. It'll be United fans who end up getting the season tickets took off them or the memberships rescinded or whatever. When it's like, what are you meant to do if you're faced with such violence and such antagonism? I don't blame people for reacting. Our mate Webby had something to say on it. Webby, who's from the Webby and O'Neill channel, has been on the channel a million times. Obviously, old school Red, part of the full-time Devils crew as well. He's often on the brew with me and stay. This is what he said. Manchester United Football Club, you are an utter disgrace. Selling all those tickets to the Rangers fans. Little children crying, coming out. That's your future, because those old school Reds don't last forever. Enjoy the money you made tonight. Could have caused mayhem at full time. Listen, anyone who knows Darren Webb, anyone who's watched Webber, anyone who's seen him on this channel, anyone who's met him, knows he's not a shrinking violet. He's not one to take to Twitter and start moaning or being on, I can't believe it, think of the children. That's not the way he is. But if he's saying that, if he's pointing out and saying, look, you're a disgrace, you need to get a grip of it, I, for one, will listen to him because he knows what he's on about. He's been to enough football matches and he's seen enough in his time. He's seen probably more than 99% of us. So if he's saying it, there's something in it, and I saw it myself. You can't allow it to happen. We said this after the Galatasaray game. We said, we need to get a grip of this. Can't be happening again. We're here again, aren't we? What, a year later? It's just not on. Get involved in the chat in the comments. Let us know what you say. John Neal, good to see John in there. John's had his own issues at the game. Obviously, John and Alex Neal, good to see him. Hope he didn't have any either last night. Sean Greaves says, just hope it didn't ruin any young people's first games or anything. Bunch of a-holes. This is a good point, that, from Sean. Look, those Europa League games, those cup games, those midweek games, a lot of the time, they are the games where you take your kids. I've done it. I took my daughter, I think one of her first games was Villarreal in the Champions League. My lad, it was one of his first games, I think was West Ham in the Carabao in midweek. The kind of games where you go, okay, yeah, this is a game where you can get a ticket, we can take the kids. Not always, because obviously it's later at night, but a lot of fans do that because it's much easier to get tickets than it is for the Premier League games. And would you want to take him again after that? Would they want to go again after that? And Webby's making a point there. Look after younger fans. I mentioned this the other day on I can't think it was the Brew. Like, fans that, like, I'm in my 40s, fans in my age are a little bit older, Webby's a little bit older. You get to the point where you might go, right, okay, now I'm going to sort of not renew my season ticket. Now I'm not going to go as often. That's, younger fans come up, don't they? They're the next wave of Reds, the next wave of fans. And if those fans aren't there, or if not as many of those people wanting to go to the game, it's going to affect everything. It's going to affect the club finances, it's going to affect the atmosphere, it's going to affect Manchester United on a whole. Let me know what you think. Get involved in the comments. Malp says Old Trafford isn't safe. Witterbird says, Jay, does this mean to you that they could try to wean season tickets out? I don't know. I think the thing with season tickets, like, there's always been this sort of feeling out there, and we've spoken to Kieran Maguire about this, that the club ideally would either have, we didn't have any season tickets, they'd rather everyone was just a day tripper. And no, it's no disrespect to people that spend a day at Old Trafford, I'm not having a dig at you, but come and then more likely to spend money in the club shop, more likely to spend money at half time and all that sort of jazz. So I get that argument. No, I don't agree with it, but I understand why the club might prefer fewer season ticket holders. But you should always have your core group of United fans. You should always have your core group that try and create an atmosphere. I think that's important for any club, including Manchester United. It's one of the reasons that Manchester United is so, is such a great club. So I think you should have a happy balance. So if you have people that are members that come down for the day, that come, 3 or 4 times a season. I've done that myself. When I was at uni in London, I only came up about 5 or 6 times. I think one season that was all I could afford. That was all I did. So I understand that, and I'm not saying, season ticket holders, whatever, just because I'm one now. So I understand both sides of it. I just think you have to have that balance. And one thing you have to do is make sure that everyone's safe. Brenaldinho says, look what they did during the Europa final against Zenit. Piccadilly Gardens was a bomb site. I was walking through knee-deep litter next morning on the way to work. I mentioned this on the radio the other day. In 2008, Rangers lost was it the Europa or the UEFA Cup final to Zenit St. Petersburg, as Brenaldinho just pointed out. Wrecked Manchester City Centre. United had just won the Champions League. We couldn't have our parade because of that. Now, you might say, whoop-de-doo, it's only parade, who cares? 99 parade was phenomenal. One of my favourite memories as a Red. And it was a shame that we couldn't have it because the Rangers fans... Now, listen, I was on a Rangers podcast last week. I'm not saying every single Rangers fan is an idiot. I'm not saying that. But there was hundreds of idiots inside Old Trafford last night. There really was, causing mayhem. Robotic Maniac says, this channel is awesome, by the way. Thank you. Gaz Robo says the Dennis Law tribute was mint. Yeah, good to see him getting a tribute as well. Ryan Plomer says, United fan from Scotland. Few Rangers fans made it into the home end. They were asked for pictures of them in the United top or in Old Trafford. They sent a very obviously doctored photo, got accepted. Very weird. I think that's why some of them may have wore United tops, because I know in some grounds they look at you like they'd make a judgment call. When I went to the new camp, he did it, and I got away with it because he unzipped my finger and I had a Marcus Rashford t-shirt on, but he didn't clock that that's what it was. Akash K says, I was one of the fools that paid 66 quid to sit in the Sir Alex Ferguson stand on Sunday, but yet prices may be going higher from here to watch this dross. Shambles. Will Bowen says, any marathons this year? I've never done a marathon, bro. I do 10Ks. I think we've got some pictures, actually, of 2008. So this is Piccadilly Gardens after Rangers fans had been in the city centre. Do you know how hard you have to work to make Piccadilly Gardens look messy? Like, honestly, that is almost an achievement, because Piccadilly Gardens is, and I say this as a proud Mancunian, it is a mess. Yeah, it's disgusting. It needs sorting. I'm annoyed at how bad it is, but it ain't that bad. So that goes to show. Will Bowen says, like real on a Friday night, that. United have issued a statement, so we can all rest easy. Manchester United released statements, as in the Manchester Evening News, after Rangers fans obtained tickets in Old Trafford home section. I think we've scrolled down, we might have a little bit of a quote from it. Manchester United insist they took the strictest possible measures to prevent Rangers fans from buying tickets in the home sections. Have we got any more of that? Is there a little bit more? Keep going. I think there should be. Keep going. Tickets were only allocated to people who existed on our database prior to the draw taking place in August. Hospitality tickets had the same restrictions applied. So they're saying that it wasn't people who just signed up. It was tickets that only for members that were already there. Tickets forwarded by season ticket holders and members also had the same restrictions applied, i.e. they could only be forwarded to fans on our database prior to the draw. Whilst the unauthorised counter tickets had become more difficult since our introduction of in-app ticketing, it cannot be completely eliminated. Well, you need to work out what went on then. All examples of away fans in home areas will be investigated over the coming days, with the strongest possible sanctions taken against the registered holders. You see, I don't know what's gone on there with people forwarding tickets to Rangers fans. Sounds a bit unlikely, doesn't it? What's like 50 Rangers fans or whatever it was who were on that section together, or managed to find someone who had that seat, the seats they wanted, who forwarded them a ticket. Do me a favour. Something's gone down there. Something's gone on. So they need to look into it. And also, I'm not having it. It's tickets from United fans have been forwarded. That's the issue here. No, not a chance. James Turner, Outdoorsy AF, says, made this point about Rangers fans on House's match preview the other day. Trouble follows Rangers fans. It does. Every fan base, including Manchester United, has their own group of fans or section of fans who will cause trouble, who, give the club a bad name, whatever. Some clubs, though, have a lot more than others. And I'm sorry, but Rangers do. They just do. It's just not a coincidence. You keep seeing these incidents. And since last night, I've had people tagging me in videos and stuff from other games that Rangers have been involved in, and it's a recurring theme. It really is. And I've been at Old Trafford. I've been at Old Trafford for 40 years. I was literally 5 when I went to my first game. And there's fewer fans that have caused as much trouble as Rangers did. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen Liverpool fans and Leeds fans and all sorts causing dramas. But Rangers fans really were up there with, or down there with any of them who I've seen causing mither at Old Trafford over the last 4 decades. Let's move on. Got a story here. Jim Ratcliffe confident United players not adversely affected by Amorim remarks. Manager called team maybe the worst in club's history. Steve and Joe did a video on this the other day about the reaction to, or about what Amorim said. Now, they recorded the video before Amorim did his press conference, but it was still relevant. We still put it out because it made sense. Amorim sort of said he made a mistake saying what he said. I was chatting to a lot of fans about this last night. I didn't mind what he said. And also, can we get off this idea that what he said was literal? Like, we're the worst United team in history. Like, people going, were we as bad when 1974 when we got relegated? Like, you get what he's saying. Yes, it might be a bit of hyperbole, but he's making a point of how bad we are. I understood that. He's trying to get a reaction. The poor bloke's running in dressing rooms, smashing up tellies. He's had enough. It's about time these players stepped up. Seriously. And this all like being nice and kind to them and telling them how wonderful they are ain't working. He said it after the Anfield game. It's no good just turning up for the big games. You've got to turn up for all of them. And what have we done? We've beaten Arsenal, a big game. And then what have we done? Lost to Bournemouth, lost to Newcastle. Was shambolic against Southampton. That win against Southampton, that performance was almost as bad as the one, if not worse than the one against Brighton. I'm sorry it was. Podge says, I was in the East Stand. I'd say a lot of the Rangers fans got packages like Sporks breaks. GMP did nothing while Rangers fans on the E32 concourse sang Billy Boys and started fights. Bigotry. I saw someone saying like on the commentary, like Ali McCoy, I think it was saying, oh, the Rangers fans are fantastic. I don't know what game you were watching, Ali. Bernardino says, Jay, don't know if you remember, but we played Celtic the following season. They were chanting, we won't rate your town, we won't rate your town, we're not Rangers, we won't rate your town. There's a bit of a better relationship with Rangers, with Celtic and United as well. What's the next one we've got here? Ayden Heaven was in attendance at Old Trafford last night to watch Manchester United's victory over Rangers. The defender is expected to decide his future soon, with United hopeful of securing his signature. Interesting. Is that another Arsenal player potentially coming to Manchester United? Another youngster? We'll have to wait and see. Just finally, Alejandro Garnacho. Manchester United manager Ruben Amorim doesn't rule out seeing Alejandro Garnacho leave the club. Where's this from, sorry? Stretty News. I made some Stretty News before the end of the season. He's playing for Manchester United. He was really important for us today. Let's see in the next days. Not exactly an emphatic, he ain't going nowhere, is it there, from old Ruben? A bit more where you can see. I think he's improving in every aspect of the game. He was better today, playing inside and also outside, changing positions. He's improving the recovery position. You can see it for the whole 90 minutes. He's always there recovering, helping. Sometimes showing some frustration. He's really good because he wants more. I think he has the potential to be so much better in every situation of the game. Spoken extensively about my thoughts on Alejandro Garnacho. I understand it's difficult. We haven't got that many assets, if you can call players assets, that we can get a lot of money for. He's one of them. Ideally, I'd like him to stay. My big concern is if you do let him go, well, two big concerns. Are you going to regret it in terms he goes to Napoli or wherever and smashes it? And you think, that could have been us. Or do you not replace him properly? Do you go out and buy another Jadon Sancho or another Antony, who flattered to deceive at best? And also, there's a third issue as well. Are you letting go a player who doesn't fit in Ruben Amorim's system? And if Ruben Amorim doesn't work out, and someone comes in who could have used Alejandro Garnacho, have you then scuppered future managers? I don't know. It's just a bit grim at the minute, isn't it? It is. At least we won, though. Anyway, we won last night. Let's not be too maudlin. We've got loads of content coming up today. We've got Mark Critchley from The Athletic coming in for Off the Bar. We're going to be chatting to him. So that'll be on later on this afternoon. We've got The Brew, of course. Don't forget that as well. Plus, we'll have the preview. I think that's going to go out over the weekend for Manchester United's game this weekend against Fulham. We're all around full circle again, aren't we? Remember the Fulham game, the optimism under Eric Ten Hag, Joshua Zirkzee scoring. Here we go. 21 is coming. And now we're, if we can get a win over Fulham, that'll probably end the relegation talk. How did it come to this? Anyway, I'll leave it there. Make sure you are hitting like, share, and subscribe. Thanks to everyone who got involved in the channel comments. I've been Jay. This has been The Paper Talk. Thanks for watching.